All right. Welcome back, everyone, for another deep dive. Today, we're going to be looking at something super important. It's mortgage remediation.
Yeah.
And we're looking at some sources about how we can possibly automate this very important, but traditionally very manual process.
Right.
So joining me today is an expert in mortgage remediation.
Hi.
So glad to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
So before we get into the automation stuff, can you just give us a quick overview of what exactly is mortgage remediation?
Yeah, sure. So it's basically about fixing any errors or problems that happen during the mortgage process.
Okay.
So that could be anything from a mistake in the loan documents to responding to customer complaints, making sure everybody is treated fairly and that everything's compliant, with the regulations.
Right.
It can be a pretty big job, especially for, big lenders who are dealing with thousands of mortgages.
Yeah, for sure. And then from what I was reading, it seems like there are 6 key stages of this mediation process.
Yeah,
And that's kind of where the automation comes in, is in those different stages. So maybe we could walk through each stage and talk about how automation could potentially be useful.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Okay, cool. So first up we got remediation scoping.
All right.
So what exactly is that?
So remediation scoping is all about figuring out where the problems are, what went wrong and where.
Okay.
So you're looking at things like customer complaints, loan data, any kind of red flags that might pop up.
Okay, so this sounds like a pretty data-heavy process.
It is. It's a lot of information to sift through.
So is that where automation can really come in handy?
Yeah, absolutely. Think about it. Instead of having a team of people manually reading through every single complaint, you could have an algorithm that scans through thousands of them in minutes, picks out the key issues.
Wow.
Identifies any trends.
That's incredible.
And that can really save a ton of time.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
Especially when you think about big lenders dealing with, like I said, thousands and thousands of mortgages.
Yeah, for sure. So not only time saving, but it sounds like it could also improve accuracy.
Exactly.
If you got algorithms flagging stuff.
Right, because an algorithm isn't going to get tired or miss something.
Yeah.
It can catch those inconsistencies that a human might overlook.
So it's like having this extra set of eyes.
Exactly.
That's constantly vigilant.
Always on the lookout.
That's awesome. All right, so we scoped out the problems. Now we got to get ready to fix them.
Right.
So what's the next stage?
So the next stage is remediation preparation. And this is where we gather all the information we need to actually start fixing things.
Okay, so what kind of stuff are we talking about here?
So it's things like, pulling customer documents, organizing all the relevant data, cleaning up any inconsistencies, making sure everything is accurate and ready to go.
Gotcha. So kind of getting all your ducks in a row.
Exactly. You got to have everything in order before you can start making changes.
So where does automation fit into this stage?
Well, a lot of these tasks are, pretty repetitive and role-based.
Right.
So they're actually perfect for automation.
Okay.
You can have bots that automatically pull the right documents. You can use software to clean and standardize the data. It's all about taking those manual tasks off the hands of your team.
So they can focus on more complex stuff?
Exactly. The things that require human judgment and expertise.
Okay, so automation is the assistant.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah, it's like having a really efficient assistant that handles all the grunt work.
Awesome. Okay, so we've scoped the issues. We've prepared all our data. Now it's time to actually, fix the problem.
Well, the execution stage.
This is where the rubber meets the road.
Exactly.
So tell me, how does automation help with this?
Well, imagine a system that can automatically prioritize which issues need to be fixed first.
Okay.
Based on their severity or their impact.
That makes sense.
It can also flag potential errors, like, say, overcharged interest, before they become bigger problems.
So it's not only fixing stuff that's already gone wrong, but it's also preventing future problems.
Exactly. It's about being proactive.
Wow. So it's having this automated quality control system.
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it. It's ensuring accuracy every step of the way.
That's amazing. All right. So we've scoped, we've prepped, we've executed. Now we need to make sure everything's running smoothly.
Right.
We need to keep track of everything. So what's the next stage?
So the next stage is reporting and tracking. And this is where we monitor the progress of the remediation, make sure everything is on track, and document everything that's been done.
So it's like keeping a record of all the fixes.
Exactly. It's all about transparency and accountability.
Okay. And I'm guessing automation can really shine here.
Oh, absolutely. This is where it really comes into its own.
How so?
Well, think about it. Instead of and manually compiling spreadsheets and sending reports.
Yeah, nobody likes doing that.
You can have automated dashboards that give you a real-time view of everything that's happening.
Wow.
You can have reports that are automatically generated and sent to the right people. It just makes everything so much smoother and more efficient.
Well, everyone's always in the loop.
Exactly. Everybody has access to the same up-to-date information.
No more like emailing spreadsheets back and forth.
Exactly. No more version control issues or anything like that.
That sounds like a dream.
It really is. It takes a lot of the headache out of the reporting process.
Amazing. All right, so we've scoped, prepped, executed, tracked. What's next?
Well, we got to make sure that those fixes actually stick.
Right, of course.
So that brings us to the remediation assurance stage.
Okay, and what happens in this stage?
This is where we double-check everything, make sure the fixes were implemented correctly, make sure there are no lingering issues, and basically just ensure that everything is working as it should be.
So it's like a final quality control check.
Exactly. It's that extra layer of protection.
And can automation help with this as well?
Absolutely, it can play a big role.
How so?
Well, an algorithm can be used to scan through the data and flag any potential inconsistencies or red flags. Okay. It's like having an automated assistant double-checking your work before it goes out the door.
And that can save a ton of time.
It can, and it can also prevent those costly errors from slipping through the cracks.
Right, because catching something early is always better than having to fix it later.
Exactly.
Awesome. All right, so we've scoped, prepped, executed, tracked, assured. What's the final stage?
The final stage is action and completion, and this is where we wrap everything up.
Okay.
So this involves things like reversing any incorrect charges, making the necessary adjustments to accounts, communicating with the customers, and updating all the systems.
So it's like dotting the I's and crossing the T's.
Exactly. It's making sure that everything is finalized and the customer is happy.
And where does automation come in here?
Well, a lot of these tasks can be automated as well.
Right.
You can have systems that automatically reverse charges. You can have automated communication that keeps the customer informed every step of the way. It just makes the whole process more efficient and consistent.
That makes sense.
And it also helps to ensure that every customer has a good experience.
Because they're being kept in the loop.
Exactly. They know what's happening and they feel like they're being taken care of.
Awesome. Well, it sounds like automation can really touch every aspect of this mortgage remediation process.
It really can.
It can make it faster, more accurate, more efficient.
And they can improve the customer experience as well.
Yeah, for sure. So it's like a win-win all around.
Absolutely.
But like anything, I guess it's important to like do it right.
Yeah, for sure. You can't just automate everything blindly. You need to carefully consider which tasks are best suited for automation.
Right.
You need to choose the right tools and the right strategies for your specific organization.
So it's not a one-size-fits-all solution.
Exactly. It's about finding the right fit for your needs.
Great. Well, I think this has been a really insightful deep dive into mortgage remediation automation. It seems like there's a lot of potential here to streamline this process and make it a lot less painful for everyone involved.
Absolutely.
So for those of you listening, I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you were leading a mortgage remediation effort, which stage would you prioritize for automation first? And why? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
We'll see you next time for another deep dive.